Are you stupid? If you are, I've got great news for you. You are not alone. Stupid people have existed for aeons, and it is precisely for them that the great German philosopher Immanuel Kant wrote his Prolegomena. What do I mean by that? Let's find out. Indeed, I am epic, and this is the epic truth of the times. Let's rewind to 1781. Kant drops his masterpiece, The Critique of Pure Reason. It is one of the best ways to cross the abyss through the intellect. Kant has just revolutionized human thought. He sits back, waits for the applause, and gets nothing but cricket chirps. And then it only gets worse when he starts hearing people's complaints. The so-called intellectuals of his day basically looked at it and said, "Yeah, we're not reading that. It's too hard." Kant was furious, and his fury was truly epic. So 2 years later, in 1783, he published a shorter, punchier sequel called The Prolegomena to Any Future Metaphysics that will be able to present itself as a science. That's a mouthful, so we just call it the Prolegomena. In plain English, Prolegomena just means preliminary remarks. But notice the bold promise in that title. It claims to set the rules for any future science forever. Is that really the case? In other words, our Prolegomena eternal! Kant's core argument in the Prolegomena relies heavily on what he calls synthetic a priori knowledge, truths about the world that we know independently of experience. To prove this was possible, Kant pointed to Euclidean geometry and Newtonian physics as absolute eternal constraints on how the human mind must experience space, time, and causality. He believed no future science could ever bypass these fundamental categories because they were the very architecture of human reason itself. However, the 20th century destabilized Kant's foundational premise. The discovery of non-Euclidean geometry, alongside Einstein's theory of relativity and quantum mechanics, proved that space can bend, time is relative, and subatomic events violate the strict deterministic causality Kant deemed universal. Far from dictating the absolute limits of all future metaphysics, the contents of the Prolegomena inadvertently confined themselves to the limits of 18th century scientific understanding. Kant set out to write an unshakable prerequisite for all future thought, but modern physics revealed that reality regularly operates outside the strict cognitive boundaries he declared eternal. So, under that interpretation, Kant's Prolegomena are not eternal, but there are other interpretations, other ways to eternify books. I just made up that word. Hope you like it. See, the demand for the Prolegomena exposes a human glitch that has never changed. Humans want deep explanations about complicated subjects, but they absolutely hate putting in the effort to get them. The book was, quite literally, the world's first academic TLDR. Kant essentially said, "Fine, since you are too stupid to handle the main text, here is the shortcut version to explain what I actually meant." But Kant ran into a tragic trade-off: accuracy versus accessibility. By stripping away the dense, rigorous arguments to give people an easy version, he opened the door for his claims to be disproven in brand new ways. And we see this exact behavior today with social media. Humans want to get deep knowledge from a 10-second TikTok or from a single bold line in the beginning of a ChatGPT response. When experts try to explain a complex topic, say how AI works or how a virus mutates, they have to simplify it for the public. But the moment you simplify a complex truth, you distort it. You lose the epic truth. So are Kant's Prolegomena eternal? Only if humanity is.